Welcome back. Well, America just celebrated its independence this week with fireworks, parades, and picnics across the country. But there are a couple of 4th of July speeches from one of our most admired statesmen that doesn't get as much attention. Historian Jemar Tisby is back with us to tell us more. Good to have you back, Jemar.
I'm glad to be back talking about history.
Yes, and we are speaking about Frederick Douglass, and I believe one of the speeches is "What to the slave is the 4th of July." Talk to us some more about that. I don't think many of us, that are not in your shoes as a historian have heard about it, unfortunately.
It is one of Frederick Douglass's most famous speeches. He gave this speech called What to the Slave is the 4th of July in July of 1852. This is while race-based chattel slavery is still the law of the land. And he had been invited to speak on the topic of independence and liberty. And he just gives it straight, no chaser. And he's quite honest about the fact that there's a hypocrisy embedded in the very holiday that white Americans are celebrating as a day of freedom and liberty and independence from Great Britain and the opportunity at democracy in the United States. Meanwhile, they're enslaving literally millions of Black people. And so they don't have that experience of liberty. Those words from the Declaration of Independence that everyone is entitled to the right to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Well, that's not true for the enslaved Africans. And so he just highlights that hypocrisy and how for many Black people, the 4th of July is not a celebration of freedom.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, how was this speech received when he gave it back in 1852, right?
That's right. So at this point, the crowd is sort of self-selecting. They know Frederick Douglass. They know his story of escaping from enslavement, and he's become an international speaker by this time. So they knew he would kind of bring a message like this, but it went far beyond just that one moment where he delivered the speech. It was written about in papers. It was quite popular, of course, quite controversial. Black people understood and resonated with it. Many white people objected to it. And it was just another one of the touch points leading up to the Civil War that showed how divided the nation was along racial lines over specifically the issue of race-based chattel slavery.
And then, 10 years later, he came out with another speech, and I believe that one's called the Slaveholders Rebellion, right, in 1862.
That's right. You're doing well. You're well on your way to being a historian here.
I did a little research.
Exactly 10 years later, so much had changed. So by 1862, the Civil War had begun. They were a little bit more into 1 year of the Civil War. But here's the thing, it didn't start out in the minds of a lot of white people and white politicians as a war over slavery. It was characterized as a war to preserve the Union. Now, Frederick Douglass, as formerly enslaved, and lots of Black people and their allies, they understood what the war was really about. That's where the title comes from, Slaveholders Rebellion. So Douglass put front and center that it was the people who enslaved other people who had insisted on separating from the Union and waging this war. Why? Because they wanted to preserve race-based chattel slavery as their source of income and a lucrative industry that they wanted to keep. And so he made no qualms about calling it what it was. And he said, up to this point, the Union hadn't been doing a very good job. It was by no means assured in 1862 that the Union would actually be victorious over Confederates. And Douglass said, if you want to win, you got to emancipate the enslaved people.
Okay.
That's going to turn the tide of this war.
All right. Well, Jemar, I wish we could keep on talking. You are just a plethora of knowledge and information, but we've got to wrap up things. So thank you again for joining us. Again, Jemar is the author of the books, The Color of Compromise and How to Fight Racism. There's even a special edition of How to Fight Racism just for kids. You can find Jemar online at jemartisby.com.